The function of intelligence units under relevant tax authority is very key and germane for tax audit and tax investigation. This function, this department is key. So what are their functions and how do they go about it is what we will want to look at now. The functions of intelligence units for tax audit and tax investigation. And after now, we'll be looking at another video that will be showing us how things are done, how tax are collected, and various taxes that various levels of government should collect. There was a recent issue in which some arm of government wants to collect some taxes, and people were like, no, 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 this is a new tax, they should not burden people. And I was like, no, this tax has been in existence for ages, but people don't know. So the next video will talk more about various taxes and various arms and levels of government that will come to our organization to collect it, or individual taxes that we are supposed to be paying. So without further ado, let's go into our dashboard and list the functions of intelligence unit. This department has two major key roles, and how they do it, how they perform it, we are going to be looking at. Those two key roles are, first of all, primarily, they are the gatherers of information. That is, information gathering of relevant tax information and transactions in their or within their jurisdiction is their main function. And the second, like it, is the analysis of the information that they've gathered. So we say gathering of information, and also the second major function is the analysis of information they've gathered. Those are the intelligence that they've gathered. The major on gathering of information and analysis of information. The question now is, which kind of information? How do they go about gathering it, which is part of their function? How they go about gathering it, which kind of information do they gather, where do they look out to for them to gather it, and the like. This is highly examinable under tax audit and tax investigation. So primarily, they need to liaise with tax offices to obtain information on tax returns and the filing. They liaise basically with relevant tax authorities and the like. Of course, they are part of the system. They want to know which taxpayer return, which taxpayer has stopped filing, which taxpayer pay late, and which taxpayer actually did not even pay at all. So one of their key roles is to liaise with relevant tax authority and gather information about taxpayer. So they liaise and gather information about taxpayer. Don't forget now that the taxpayer now we are talking about are those ones that are already within the tax net. They are gathering information about those ones that are already in the tax net. They want to know those that have filed. They want to know those that stop filing, those that make late payments, those that have absconded, and the like. Also, they work together with registrar of company which we can call Corporate Affairs Commission here, to obtain information about new businesses and new accounts. So they gather information about new incorporated companies, and you see, we cannot escape tax. So they work together with other agencies of government and gather information about newly incorporated organizations. That is another intelligence gathering there. And also they work with other parastatals, other agents of government for current and prior year cross-checking of returns and the like. They work together with various arms of government to ensure various things that are submitted, information submitted to them, whether they could be useful or not for tax purposes. Also, they gather information from newspapers. So they are newspapers readers. So you see, when we are doing things as a corporate organization, we need to be very careful, or at least be conscious and know what we are doing, so that we will not overexpose ourselves. So these departments look for information in newspapers, magazines, journals, televisions, radios, and the like, for sign of potential and civil violation of tax laws. So, and general publication, let me put it like that. All manners. Having said that, also they use intelligence technique. For example, surveillance. You may not know that they are observing you. Surveillance. They are observing your transactions, computer database, and the like, to gather information on companies, businesses, financial activities. So they use surveillance, they do research, and the like. They are observers. So let me summarize it by saying they are by observation. So they function by observation, looking at transactions, observing people, observing transactions, observing organizations, reading up on them, and the like. Also, they carry out some special enforcement program on suspected targets or defaulters. So special enforcement, they can carry out special enforcement, having established their fact that the person they want to enforce law on is a defaulter. Don't forget that they have surveillance, they've gathered intelligence about you and the like, so they can specially enforce tax payment and the like. Another function that they do is they carry out general intelligence collection. All manners, in all ways. They are open to other people to come to their office and share ideas or give them a tip about a transaction that is going on, and they can follow up. That is intelligence gathering for you. Also, they could refer cases to civil or criminal investigation units of the relevant tax to continue with. So that's another thing that the function that it can do. They can refer work to be done to other departments to carry on. Don't forget, their own main aim is intelligence gathering, though they can have some special enforcement, but they can give the audit department and investigation department, even though they work hand in hand, to continue their field work. Should we put anything down? So they can easily refer cases that they've worked on for onward follow-up. They work with third party. Their doors are open to everyone that wants to give them intelligence information so that they can work with. So they work with third party information. Also, part of their function is to obtain and review published financial statements, especially of offshore companies. So they obtain and review. Let me put it down for those of us that would like to have something written down. They obtain and also they review publications, that is on the financial statement that have been published, especially offshore companies. As it relates to offshore companies, you know, money is actually there. So they can easily interpret financial statements and know and understand some offshore transaction and give it to other arms of government to follow up with. So basically, the function of intelligence units is to gather information and to analyze information, and at the end of the day to pass other arms or various arms of government for follow-up. The next video will be on taxes to be collected by the federal, the state, and the local council or local governments. Fiscal federalism is what we'll be actually looking at from GJAMES Associate channel. If you are just joining us, please go and subscribe. And if you are a return viewer, big hug, virtual hug for that matter to you. We say thank you. Benga Latin GFCA has been speaking. We are value to life. We are value to your business. Next, we'll be looking at, it's a form of question that we are going to be answering. Various taxes that are to be collected by different arms of government, and we will do justice to that.